There we are. Greetings and welcome, everybody. Dr. Espen here. Today I'm joined by Todd Cooper. This is going to be an awesome conversation. We've been in partnership together for a little while, and I want to really share with you guys why and how you might be able to use something similar in your life and in your business as well. So let me start by doing a quick intro. Todd Cooper is a future thought leader who set an example for sustainable business owners in Australia, and not just in Australia, but all over the world. He was originally the founder of a company called Waxelene, which he'll talk about a little bit in a moment, which sold over 2 million units in over 15,000 stores internationally. And then he started to realize that the success part was amazing, but he wanted to really give back. So his inspiration is now to remove plastic from the waterways and to clean up the oceans and do good for our environment, which is why he created a non-for-profit organization called KINA, which stands for Keeping It Neutral Australia, which has now removed over 15,000 kilos of plastic from South East Queensland alone. So we have partnered with Todd and KINA some while ago and keep donating to this non-for-profit to be able to give back as well. So I want to say a special welcome, Todd. So good to see you. How are you, my bro?
I am doing great. I'm so grateful to be here on the show with you and all the contributions you've made to KINA and all the contributions you've made to humanity in general.
Oh, it's my pleasure, bro. And it's such a privilege to be able to give back. And so I want to start by asking a quick question. This is one of the really the beautiful things that inspired me when I first met you. I want to hear a little bit about your story from your background of doing the work that you did and then moving into KINA. So please tell us, how did this come together?
Great question. And to keep it, short, there's a long version and a short version. I've been really involved with sustainable business from the get-go. I actually I got a degree, a pre-med degree in exercise physiology from the University of Oregon, and I was thinking of going to med school. And I was like, there's just something I really want to do. There needs to be more organic restaurants. This is, way back before Waxelene even. And I just don't like to have a thought. I don't like to complain. And if there's something in your head, if you have these thoughts, you're having these thoughts for a reason. People make amazing businesses selling, all kinds of stuff that I would have no interest in. And I've never had a thought of starting that kind of business, but I wanted to start an organic restaurant. So I did. And we made everything from scratch. There was, like our freezer, we had like just the frozen fish for the fish tacos and like 1 can of tomatoes for the Mexican rice. Like it was everything from scratch, whole foods. And just because I wanted that to be available for people, and it really went, people loved it. It was successful. Sold it after 4 years and had a garden supply store in San Francisco. This is all back in the US. San Francisco garden supply store went really well. And I was working on making a product that was going to have like petroleum jelly as the base, and didn't want petroleum jelly, wanted to use an organic version. Found out that there wasn't any such thing that was really like up to standard, so made that. And then similar experience, when you have these ideas and you have a problem that you want to solve, it's really likely that there's other people that are having the same thoughts. They want to solve that same problem. And that's going to be a common theme throughout this story, as like, okay, well, and everyone really, jumped on board, and Waxelene took off. Like you said, it was in 15,000 stores within 2 years. And I didn't even have sales brokers. That was just me calling stores and sending out samples, and the product really sold itself. It's not because I'm a great salesperson. It's just, it's a great product, our flagship product. And, now we've expanded the range. And at first it was glass jars and metal lids because we didn't want to use plastic. And then in seeing all the glass jars show up on a pallet wrapped in plastic, and the lids have plastic, and the labels have plastic. And so it's like, you really can't be plastic free in your packaging. And inevitably, a lot of
something I want to jump in on this, because this is something that when you first shared, I was so inspired, because you said it's almost impossible in this modern world to not have a plastic footprint. Like, you will eat some things that are plastic. You will have a plastic bag. You will there will be waste. So what you've done, which is so cool, is that you've put together a system where people, even though you can't just go live in the woods and not use any plastic, but you have a way to offset the plastic that people are using so that they're leaving the world a better place. I just wanted to kind of give it a little, my 2 cents worth on that, and park that, and we can come back to that. Because I love the way you did that. That gives everyone an opportunity to say, yes, I'm using plastic. I'm conscious about it. I don't want to do it, more than I have to, but because I'm doing it, I'm making making it right at the same time. So back to you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly where is headed with that. And that was the realization moment too. And we had such a demand for plastic tubes, especially from the moms who use our product, or moms as we call them in the US. And they, it's just much more convenient, and people really love our flip top tubes. So we sourced BPA free, 100% recyclable, really good quality plastic. And then, we were moving through at one point 50 to 100,000 tubes per month. We were selling them in the warehouse, and I just see a whole wall of plastic tubes, just pallet upon pallet. And I was like, oh, wait, this is, we're doing the right thing with the recyclable, but, we need to offset this. We need to be removing plastic from the waterways to offset this, and kind of got it started in my head. Well, yeah, plastic offsets. And then started to see that term pop up a little bit more and more. And it's really it's very similar to a carbon offset. Except, with a carbon offset, it's a little trickier. It's like that you plant a tree and you can sink carbon into the soil and things like that. But plastic is pretty simple it's pretty simple math. It's like, this is how much plastic your footprint is. This is how much plastic you're using. And we're going to take that much out of the waterways. And now you're, at least removes the guilt, and know that you're doing your part to make the whole circle. It kind of comes back to not complaining and thinking, I've always wanted to hold businesses accountable. Well, shouldn't it be the manufacturers of these products that are responsible for cleaning it up? So often we see that, where these companies come in and make a big mess, and then they don't clean it up. They just make their money and leave. And that's always upset me. So I just don't want to do that. So we wanted to be responsible for the entire supply chain, from the manufacturer all the way to the disposal. So that's really where the plastic offset idea came from. So I was just doing that with Waxelene, and had worked with Ocean Crusaders, which is an amazing organization here out of Brisbane. And they get to work. We went out, we got 860 kilos in 4 hours with 4 people on the boat out of the Coomera River.
Say that again.
860 kilos of plastic and toxic rubbish out of the Coomera River in 4 hours with 4 people.
Woo!
Yeah, it was really, and that was opened my eyes just how, until you go on the cleanups, you don't totally realize. We all see plastic on the beach and stuff, but when you find these little nooks where it tends to collect in the mangroves and in what I call the honey holes, when you're out there picking, and you can just load up bag after bag, and the next thing you know, the boat was full. It was actually, the trailer was hitting the wheels. We're gonna hit the wheel wells, and it was barely able to drive the trailer away once the boat was on the trailer. So yeah, we really okay, these guys are great. And then I was telling James and Craig, who and I was telling them about it, like, oh, that's so cool. And then I told some other people, oh, I want to do that for my business too. And I want to do that for my business. So I'm like, well, easy cheesy, we'll just start a not-for-profit where we remove plastic from the waterways. I think it was James's idea, actually, when he's like, he always has the bigger idea. And, where there is a carbon footprint involved with removing plastic from the waterways, because you're burning gasoline. And so we said, well, let's plant a tree also for each offset. So for every kilo, we also plant a tree to offset the carbon footprint of the plastic.
I love that. And just to point that out, Todd and KINA has developed the method, and correct me if I'm wrong, that allows each business to be assessed as to their footprint so that you could say, okay, you're generating approximately this much, and then you're able to, if people want to donate to basically be footprint neutral, then they're able to do so. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's in progress. We've come a long way with it. We're working with some environmental attorneys to make sure that we're getting everything correct as far as what kind of documentation we need and assessment tools for making sure that we're assessing that. And I know that's something that you want to have that certification. As far as the actual certification and putting the stamp on it, that's something that's in the works and it's basically going to be available, any month now, anytime soon. It's still possible to do the offsets though, right? You do the offsets and you can be plastic neutral, and we can talk you through how to make your business plastic neutral. That's not a problem. It's just the actual stamp of like, it's officially certified. We want to get all the legal in place, and that should be finalized real soon.
And this was so cool. And this is obviously why I wanted to be a part of it as well, because this is the thing. For every $5 that gets donated to Keeping It Neutral Australia, for every $5 that gets donated to KINA, which is a non-for-profit organization, whoever is contributing in this, for every $5, we pick up 1 kilo of plastic from the ocean and plant a tree for $5. That is a good spend of a $5. I mean, that's, instead of drinking the second coffee that day, you could do that. And that's so inspirational to me.
I like the way you put that. Just instead of the second, it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. And easier too. You don't even have to go, you just click the button and on the website, which is kina.org.au. And it gets, it makes it easy because everyone wants to do the cleanups, and that's, not always possible. And even for us as the organization, that's why we partner with Ocean Crusaders. They have all the equipment. They can get out there and extract. They can extract things really well, really quickly and efficiently. And what's really cool about the plastic offset program too is it's not just donating to a charity and then you don't really know where the money's going. There's 100% transparency about exactly where the money's going. $5, and then that, like you said, that's a kilo of plastic that'll get removed from the waterways and 1 tree planted. And that way where your money's going. It is still a donation, and that you get the donated gift receipt that can be, applied to taxes and everything. But it's really like a product in a way, because I come from a product background. So I'm thinking, okay, e-commerce, and how does this work? You can go on, build an e-commerce website. You can click through, and you're buying something. You're buying the removal of you're paying for that. It's not just a donation to the Red Cross or something, which is also great because they help a lot of people. But it's not like every dollar you give to Red Cross, you get this much blood. It's like, it's just sort of, you just give them money and then they do what they want with it.
Yeah, I love it. And when I thought about this and how to integrate it, I thought I want to really make sure that this is a win-win-win. Okay, so let me explain. I run live events, okay? And this is for all of you out there who have small businesses, you're a coach and a mentor, you run live events, you charge for something online, you do e-commerce like Todd just said. This is many, many different ideas. So for me, I'm in the live events business, right? And so I wanted to move away from doing free events and have more qualified leads, more people who really wanted to be there. So I asked myself the question, how can I charge a small but meaningful fee, and also do something really good for the world at the same time? So I thought, this is great. So at the moment, we're charging $17 for our one-day event, and we donate 100% of that to charity. $12 goes to charity water. So we're able to give water and a lot of sustainable water also to people in developing countries, women, children, men who don't have access to clean water. We're actually contributing to that. And also, for every single person that comes to our event, we'll donate $5 to you. So every single person basically helps get access to people in third world countries, access to clean drinking water. They basically pick up a kilo of plastic from the ocean and they plant a tree. So what is that? Why is that a benefit for me? Well, I get people that really want to be in my events, and each of those students are part of making the world a better place. So I win because I get people that I want to have there, because they're pulling out their credit card, putting their registration through, and I get what's called a qualified lead. It works for the student as well, because they are now having a vested interest in being there, and they get to contribute to developing countries, to our planet as well. And of course, you guys win because you're able to assist the environment. So I just wanted to put that in there for those of you out there that might be thinking, well, how do I do it? And how does it work, or how can it work? That was a way that I kind of brainstormed for a while to be able to make it a win-win-win. And I don't know about you guys watching, but for me, what I want to do is I want to set up something that's automatic. Okay, because if you ask me, you know, how much do you donate and do you do it manually? Well, it's for most people, it can be a bit difficult to go in and press that button on a regular basis. So the way I want to do it is I want to do this automatically. So if I do automatic donations, and for those of you watching, it could be $1 a day. Now, mind you, I have no vested interest in saying this. This is for the betterment of developing countries and also for KINA, as I talked about. But if I go to sleep at night and get to the end of my life, and I know that I've had an automated system throughout my life that has contributed to the planet, I know that I'm going to have given something back. So I urge of you, those of you out there who are interested in this, to maybe reach out to Todd and have the conversation, or go to any other favorite charity of yours and set up something that might be automatic, so that you don't have to think about it, but you know that you're being of service. So back to you, Todd, when you're talking about the success you had with Waxelene, and then something inspired you to start KINA, which was this wanting to go, you see all the plastic, right? And you don't want to play that game anymore. So you start to create KINA. Tell us now, in terms of that transition, where are you now, and what's inspiring you to continue to do what you're doing?
Yeah, it's like having a tiger by the tail, really. Was I just so many people want to get involved, and we want to help clean up all the waterways, and I want to do everything all at once. But of course, you just have to take one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, do what you can to remove plastic from the environment. And so with that, with KINA right now, what we're working on, we have a event coming up in October, I believe the weekend of the 7th to the 9th. We're partnering with Surfrider Foundation, Sunshine Coast chapter, and Ocean Crusaders as well. We'll be sponsoring that event. It's a really fun event at Double Island Point. I don't know if anyone's ever been there, but it's a beautiful place where you have to drive, four-wheel drive out to the campsite along the beach. It's one of the best surf breaks in the world when it's going. And then they have some live music, there's food, there's, like, you know, I think 300 people total will be camping out there for the weekend. And historically, they've removed, you know, 2,000 to 4,000 kilos, if I have my numbers correct. But we're expecting to get around that much plastic. With all those volunteers, it adds up. So if each person gets 20 kilos and you have 300 people, that's like 6,000 kilos. So like we'll clean that whole area. It's Rainbow Beach, you know, you go in through Rainbow Beach. So there's like 7 kilometers up to Rainbow Beach and then around the point, and there's lots of land to clean up. So that's the next event we have coming up in October. We haven't posted, this is really the first announcement I've made of that. And the information has just come through as to exactly how to sign up for that. So that'll be on our social medias in the next day or two with more information about how to sign up for that if anyone wants to register and be a part of that. Super fun. And you can just imagine all the cool people that are going to be there, right? Because, you know, we all love the ocean. We all want to offset. We want to keep the plastic from getting in the waterways. We want to remove it from the waterways. We want to educate others. There's a lot of kids that turn up, and we're educating them. We're showing them how easy and fun it is. It's not like, you know, this isn't fun or something. Like, this is really fun to get together and have a good time, barbecue and do all that fun stuff and clean up the environment at the same time and catch a few waves along the way. So yeah, that's going to be a good event. And then with Waxelene, we've been working on we're launching a new skincare range for people with sensitive skin. And we're partnering with Skin Safe, which is funded by Mayo Clinic. So the best scientists in the world, 23 years of data on skin sensitivity, and a gigantic database of people who have all types of different skin sensitivities, because our main customers have eczema. Waxelene, the multi-purpose ointment, has just had major transformations for people with eczema. Just like literally thousands of people. So that's what keeps me inspired. That's what keeps me going, to answer that portion of your question. I was like, well, how can I keep helping people? And if I can help more people with more stuff and be more involved in their lives. And so we're doing a WeFunder campaign for equity crowdfunding for Waxelene as well, which is wefunder.com/Waxelene, Waxelene. And that's another way people can get involved and actually get a, like an equity type stake in Waxelene, and help us launch the skincare range for people with sensitive skin. And that's going to be super, super exciting. We have a lot of celebrity partnerships with Waxelene as well. Everyone from Zooey Deschanel won't leave home without it. And Hailey Berry, Gigi Hadid uses it on her cheeks, and all kinds of, it's a really popular product in the US, and also going to be bringing it to Australia to get a little more distribution here. And then, back to KINA, keep doing campaigns. We're going to keep doing campaigns and planting trees. And the education portion of it is a big thing. We're out on the water with Ocean Crusaders, and the mayor of Brisbane, Adrian Schinner, and actually Ross Vasta, the federal MP, was out there with us looking at the automatic river cleaner Ocean Crusaders has in the Brisbane River. And by getting that education and working with the ministers and mayors and everyone to see firsthand, here's the problem, here's the solution, get us money so we can start making more of these automatic river cleaners that are out there cleaning plastic out of the waterways while there's no one even there. We just have to go out and change the bins out. So that's a big thing for me, because I think going back to the piece about the responsibility, and whose responsibility is it? Is it the manufacturers? Is it the consumers? Is it the business owners? Whose job is it to clean up the waterways? It's inevitable that some of this plastic's going to get in there. And I think if it was the government's responsibility to clean it up, I was having a discussion with one of the ministers for Queensland in charge of waste management. We were saying, it costs, if it's $5 for, and then we're removing a kilo. And he's like, wait, $5 for a kilo? That's really expensive, actually. Because if it didn't end up in the waterways, it would be a lot less expensive if it went into the truck. A lot of the plastic blows out of the truck when they're just dumping it. After a trash day, you see trash all around the neighborhood. Just little things like that they could do on a government level to just not let it get into the waterways in the first place. Can we just keep it out of there so we don't have to go pulling it out? Like that would be the best step, and that comes with education. So just educating people and educating the ministers, and making them aware of the situation so they can do everything they can. They're all so enthusiastic about it. They're from every side of politics. What doesn't matter what party they're with, they all want to see the rivers cleaner. They all want to see cleaner waterways. So it's just about getting that education piece out to everybody so they can make a bigger impact.
Beautiful, bro. I think that proactive nature, is critical. I want to ask you quickly, for those out there interested in how do I, benefit the world, how do I make a difference? What advice have you got to those who are thinking about potentially starting a charity or doing something similar to what you've been doing?
Oh, that's a great question. I've gotten asked that a couple times recently, actually. So, just do it. If you're having that calling and you're seeing that's a vision you're having, other people are wanting that too, and you can have the impact. It's not that tricky. I say that because Courtney did all the work for us getting it set up. So it was easy for me. I just called Courtney, is that done yet? But she's a CPA and she, is involved in that. So you just contact your CPA and say, look, I want to start a not-for-profit. There's usually a fee along with that. It's not super prohibitively expensive. And then it took like 9 months for us to actually get all of our ACNC stuff together, and the ATO made some mistakes. So Courtney was giving the ATO a hard time. You guys need to get your act together over there. And you just keep the ball moving, and next thing you know, you have your not-for-profit status. There are some things you have to have a board of directors and some things like that. So you just put the pieces of the puzzle together, realizing it's not going to happen overnight. But the sooner you start, the sooner you finish. So just get going on it, put together a business plan of what you want it to look like and how you're going to have the impact. Just it's your vision, like whatever that vision is. Everyone listening has their own ideas, their own thoughts. Or are they your own thoughts? Are they the universe's thoughts? I don't know. There's thoughts in your head. Let's put it that way. So, whatever those are, I believe that that's your purpose. That's your soul calling to say, this is what I need to do. This is what I want to do. This is my purpose. And look, I'm really busy. I don't even like to use the word busy, but I have a pretty full plate, let's say. Between Waxelene and KINA and remodeling a house, there's always a way to fit it in and keep the ball moving and have those conversations. A lot of it's about communication and how you communicate how you're going to communicate your vision, and how you're going to explain it to people what it is you want to do with this not-for-profit, or even if it's a for-profit business that's hopefully a high impact, positive impact business. What you do is you start with a business plan is actually a really good way to go. It sounds big and scary, like some kind of homework assignment, but it's actually pretty simple to, it's really basic stuff. It's just like, I want to start a not-for-profit, and we're going to remove plastic from the environment, and we're going to do this with plastic offsets, and we're going to partner with companies like Ocean Crusaders. Just putting the basics on the piece of paper so that you have that communication piece and you're able to put it out into like anyone who needs to be involved. You have that communication of the clarity around what it is that you want to manifest, because this is basic manifestation. You're already having these thoughts in your brain. They're already starting to manifest, because that's what the brain does, is it manifests things. It's constantly manifesting. So the more clarity you can have in your mind, the more it's clearly the manifestation is going to take place. So if you put it onto paper in the form of a business plan, now you've made even more clarity, and that's actually reinforcing the clarity in your mind as well. And then you can communicate that to everybody else who needs to be involved, the CPA, to get they're going to have questions. Well, what is your not-for-profit going to be doing? Well, it's in the business plan. So it just becomes, it's about clarity and communicating this vision. And as you're doing that, you'll actually be giving yourself more clarity in your own mind about what's going to be, what's going to go down. And then next thing you know, we're making history, like right now, right here, Dr. Espen TV, Dr. Espen's podcast, history in the making, and you're part of it right now.
And I love it because we get to give back. And that's the thing, when we start to become successful and we make more money or receive more money, the question is not how much do you hold on to and how do you invest them smart, but how do you give back? Because I always ask myself this question. This is something that I heard many years ago, which has really, really been such a huge thing in my life. This is a specific question that you guys feel free to write down if this inspires you. But this is a question that I ask myself every single day. And the question is, when I get to the end of my life, and I've got this one question that comes up, and that is, did I really live? Did I really love? And did I really serve my heart out? And so my intention is to do something every day that's going to move me closer towards saying yes to that question. So let's say at the end of my life, I'm on my deathbed, I got my hands on my heart, and I ask myself this question: did I really love, did I really live, and did I really serve my heart out? I want to be able to, with tears of gratitude in my eyes, wholeheartedly say, yes, I lived, I loved, and I served my heart out. And that's why we partnered with you guys. That's why we partnered with Charity Water and many other ways of giving. Operation Underground Railroad is another one that we support so much in helping to stop child sex trafficking, etc. So I speak this to all of you out there, entrepreneurs, business people, even mums, dads, ordinary people. What are we giving back? And for me, a big thing was to be plastic neutral. Yes, because I do use some plastic. I go to cafes and I have a takeaway cup and there's plastic in there, and that happens. So I want to make sure that what I leave behind is better than what I received. And so I want to take this moment to thank you, Todd, and to thank KINA for the amazing work that you've done, and to allow us to donate to you. And as you said, plant a tree and pick up a kilo of garbage for every single $5 that we share. And so it's an absolute privilege to be partnering with you. And I want to thank you once again for your time. I always have one last question. And this is a question I ask most of the people that I interview. And it goes like this. I want you to imagine, Todd, that you're now on the world stage and you have hundreds of thousands or however many people watching you. And this is your one chance to share your message to the world. Please take your time as long as you need, and then share what is your message to the world.
You know, it can all, so much can be done for everything if with kindness and understanding for one another. And being kind it's just a better way to go through life, right? It's like, how do you want to go through life? And actually one of the ways we met, is Dr. Espen does a lot of help for people with personal development, and actually encouraging other people to develop personally and helping them develop personally is the best thing we can all do. The further I get into my journey of sustainability, whether that be through sustainable business or the not-for-profit, I realize that the one thing I can add the most value to the world is if I actually make myself better. The more I can do to help myself, then I'm actually making the world a better place. And imagine if everybody in the world was developing themselves personally and trying to be the highest version of themselves. Imagine what a beautiful place. And that's literally what's going to evolve humanity. 100 years, 200 years, 300 years down the road, what's going to put us to that point, where that tipping point where we stop fighting and there's no more war and there's no more pollution and things like that, all these issues. It really actually comes down to encouraging one another as personal development and helping each other develop personally, because if we can all each in our own way become our highest version of ourselves, then the world will in turn, and humanity in particular, will become a better place.
Letting that sink in. I love that you turn that back to each person, each of us, to what we can do to be the best version of ourselves. Thank you again for your time, Todd. Thank you for letting us partner with you. And thank you for the work that you're doing. Every time you're out there with the people that you work with as well, and pick up plastic and plant a tree, it really makes a big difference. And of course, as we know through the universal law of compensation, what we give is what we get. And so the more we can serve people, the more we, in essence, are also serving ourselves. So there should be no reason for not contributing to whatever the cause that is closest to your heart might be. So thank you once again, Todd. I love you so much. Appreciate you. And thank you for taking the time to be with us here today.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine. I really appreciate you having me on to chat about KINA, and I love talking about myself. So yeah, big ups to you and everything that you do. make the world a better place, and look forward to working with you in the future and seeing you again soon.
Love and blessings, brother. Thanks, everybody. See you on the next one.